Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Bravo Countdown. This has been a good week for Bravo news. We've been up, we've been down,
Mm-hmm.
we've been
Oh
all
my
over
God.
the place. So
It's been a whirlwind.
after last week when we were saying, we're going to be very heartbroken if the news came out about Kyle Mauricio, the
Mhm.
news did come out that they were
Yeah.
split up. But then very quickly, there was a statement from Kyle and Mauricio both on their
Yeah, like a
Instagram.
joint one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it said that, what do you have it actually? Do you have the
Yeah,
statement?
I've got it because it was I think it was People magazine that released the original statement and it was the exclusive. So I
Yeah.
thought it was all pretty legit and sort of
Yeah.
factual. And then of course, like you said, they come out with a statement on Instagram. So I'll read it out. She said this was on Kyle's, but then I think Mauricio posted it too. So, in regards to the news that came out about us today, any claims regarding us divorcing are untrue. However, yes, we have had a rough year, the most challenging one of our marriage, but we both love and respect each other tremendously. There has been no wrongdoing on anyone's part. Although we are in the public eye, we are asked to be able to work through our issues privately. While it may be entertaining to speculate, please do not create false stories to fit a further salacious narrative. Thank you for the love and support, Kyle and Mauricio. And the comments are off on it as well.
Yeah. I did notice they had the comments
Mm.
switched off. So what's your thoughts? What do you think?
I don't know. I was so shocked when I read that because it
Yeah.
really is, yeah, doesn't sort of fit the narrative that we were told from this, exclusive and everything.
Yeah.
Does it mean they're separating? They didn't sort of say.
Yeah.
They claim they're not divorcing, but they could still be separating or taking some time apart, who knows? And they
Yeah.
did sort of obviously confirm that although they're not divorcing, they've had a really, really difficult year, the worst year of their marriage. So that's a big
Mm.
claim for 27
And it
years.
and it was quite a statement to make, I thought.
Yeah,
I was like, why
I
did
thought so
why did you
too.
why did you need
Include
to
that.
say that? Yeah.
I know. But is that a
If you're
way of sort of
saying
mm,
if you're saying we're not getting a divorce, so why do you need to
yeah,
tell people it's been the worst year of your marriage?
I
Very
know.
strange.
It is very interesting. So yeah, and then have you seen there's been a couple of clips of like TMZ people trying to interview her and stuff?
Yeah.
Um,
And I saw they were in Aspen together though, right? Kyle and
yeah,
Mauricio.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly. So
very strange. But
I
then did
know.
you
Mm.
see there's a video going around on TikTok and it is Morgan Wade's ex-girlfriend posted
Yes.
posted a video back in March saying, like crying. This is obviously before
Mm.
anyone knew anything about, Kyle and
Mhm.
like before any speculation had started. And
Yeah.
and the ex-girlfriend's crying saying, my ex was in town doing a show and I don't know why I did it, but I went on to see who was in attendance and the person that I didn't want to be in attendance was.
Mm.
And it sort of feels like she's alluding to Kyle being there. It could be someone completely different though. Like she
Yeah.
doesn't say, right? And she
Yeah.
doesn't make any sort of reference to anything that would make you think it's Kyle, but it is just a bit weird.
And Kyle
That
and
Kyle and
Teddy
Teddy
did
were there.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah, they did go.
yeah,
So, like you said,
at
it
that
could
show.
be a coincidence, but it also could be that she's talking about Kyle.
Yeah,
Um,
weird.
so yeah, interesting. I think she also came out with a statement. I think the ex-girlfriend. I can't think off the top of my head even what her name is or anything, but I do think she
Yeah.
posted something on Instagram. But again, it was all
Okay.
kept very vague, and it certainly didn't
Mm.
say this wasn't about Kyle. It was
Yeah, right.
yeah, so it's interesting, but it's also an interesting take for Kyle to kind of say, we want to deal with it privately and everything. Because I'm like, well, hang on, aren't we going to see some of it play out on the show? Are we not? There was talk of them picking cameras back up like they did for Vanderpump to cover, which they've done in the past with Beverly Hills. Remember when Yolanda and
Yeah.
David split and it was like a couple
That's
months
right.
later, they picked cameras back up to kind of cover that side. So it's not
Yeah.
unheard of for them to do that. But I wonder if how much we'll see of it on the show, if anything.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surely we're going to see some of it.
If they've had
Because
a
there's
really
one
hard
thing I would,
year.
yeah, and there's one thing I would say about Kyle, although she likes to be in everyone else's business more than she likes to be in her own. She also isn't very good at hiding, like what she's feeling or what she's going through at the time, if you know what I mean. Like she's not very good with sort of regulating her emotions, which is a good thing because we want to see it. You know, we want to see the truth. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. In other news, we saw some more behind the scenes of Vanderpump Rules filming, but this time it was Sandoval and Schwartz.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what were your thoughts? Yeah, what were your thoughts?
First of all, I didn't actually know it was, I mean, it was Schwartz from behind, but it took me a second to be like, who is that he's filming with?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sandoval had no nail polish on, I did notice in the video, which someone commented. It wasn't my first thought, but I did see that. And also people are trying to like work out whether he was, because you know he's claimed like he hasn't drank or he's been sober for a while. They had a couple of beer bottles there, so but it could be non-alcoholic beer, obviously. But I'll be interested to see again if he keeps that up on the show or if that's literally just for show, you know. So I don't know, but but he's obviously like bagging out Greg.
I know.
Their partner at Schwartz and
I was
Sandy.
so angry about that.
I know,
like,
poor Greg.
He's like, oh, Greg stubs his toe and fucks everything up or whatever he said. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, how dare you?
I know.
And it was his tone of voice.
I know. Doesn't it just show he's just not changed whatsoever?
Oh, of course this
situation has not changed that man. And it's actually quite scary that he is just it's as if he's fucking oblivious to the way that the whole world feels about him right now.
After all of this, literally. And it's like deflect. Yep. It seems that that's going to continue to be the narrative. But it's interesting that Schwartz has to film with them because who else is going to do it? Raquel, from what we know, is not back or even signed a contract yet. So he's really going to have to just be roped in to do it, just take one for the team. So, and we've seen some other bits of filming, like Pump obviously closed down. So they were there for like the last night. It looked like Schwartz was there as well. And you could see him and Ariana talking in the background of like a video. It didn't look heated, but it looked like a discussion. So yeah, that was interesting. And I'm trying to think if there was any other sort of, we've seen a few kind of, things that they've been filming, but that was the main one, was the Pump. Yeah. And also Tom and Tom being out for lunch.
And do you know what else I thought actually, when they were out for lunch, it was so loud.
Yeah.
Like it was so quiet in the restaurant and they were like, Tom Sandoval's voice was so loud. I was like, is that what it's always like?
I'd love to be a fly on the wall for like
because obviously, and a lot of it, they can't have a lot of background noise. Otherwise it would just be really annoying. So like, maybe they do tell people like, can you be quiet or a bit more quiet? It's just a bit strange, like how loud he was being. The whole restaurant could hear his conversation.
That's probably just him as well. Like,
well, yeah, it could just be literally his fucking voice. But yeah, and then also Ariana has actually confirmed she's going to be on Dancing with the Stars, which is really cute. The first non-housewife. Like Bravo non-housewife, to be honest. That's cool. And I'm like, she's actually a good dancer. Well, I don't know about, the more traditional stuff, but she can shake her ass. She can move.
I know. Well, the first time we seen her on this show, she was Sheena's backup dancer, remember?
Oh my God.
Like season 1 or something, which is hilarious. So she came on as Sheena's back. Yeah, that's funny. But no, I like the way that they revealed it with the TikToks, and it was really clever, and it's exciting. Good on her. I think all the opportunities she's getting are well deserved and amazing. So
oh so yeah, exciting. She needs to just like ride this wave, like go with it.
Of course she does. I know.
Why wouldn't you? Like, I know. And the thing is, like, not one member of the cast is going to be like, jealous or you're thinking, why is she getting it and I'm not. Like, everyone is just going to be, except Tom Sandoval, obviously. Everyone is just going to be loving it for her. So go
rightly
for
so. And also,
Yeah,
did
I
you see
know.
it was revealed on his birthday?
Stop.
That's when
That's
they
so
that's when
funny.
they announced the news, which I think is just kind of
So
funny.
calculated. That
Yeah,
is
I
so
know.
calculated.
He'd be
I love
so
that.
pissed. It's
Oh my
great.
gosh. Happy birthday, Tom.
I
Um,
know. Take this.
that actually reminds me about Billy Lee's
Oh
Instagram
my
post.
god.
Oh,
What
Billy
is
Lee, like,
that?
stop it. If you
Stop
want to be
it.
a
I know.
friend and you want to be supportive, support your friend. Why do you need to post all the videos to your Instagram story? You literally
I
are
know.
doing it for the attention.
Yeah, of
Like,
course she is.
fuck
And to be
off.
talked about, I know it's ridiculous. And being
Yeah,
like, oh, best friend and stuff. It's like,
I know.
what? Since when
I
were you
know.
guys best friends? Like,
I
come
know.
off it, seriously.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Yeah, they were cringe to watch all those stories. Oh, but yeah.
I
Anyway,
know.
looks like he was
And then
celebrating
she's
something.
like asking him about his nail polish, and he's got all these little like,
Yeah, all this nail art.
yeah, nail art.
Yeah.
I'm like, what age are you?
I know.
Seriously,
And it was
who
like an
does nail art?
ombre thing. He'd done like white into blue. Oh, it was horrible. Like,
So
give
sad.
up. Good nail
I
polish
know.
companies come out and not want to associate with you. Cut your ties with a nail polish. Seriously.
Yeah.
Take a hint.
Yeah, I know. I know. Um, oh, actually, in other divorce news,
Oh my God.
what is going on with Kim and Croy? By the time I
Bizarre.
sent you. That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so bizarre. I was like, that didn't
So
sound right when
now
it came out of my mouth there, Kim and Croy, but
Kevin Cry. So now they're back together and the divorce is off. Do we know
surely not
why
after
or
all those awful things that they have publicly said about each other, all those accusations they've made against each other.
they've like called the police on each other? Like there's been
I
so much
know.
that's gone on, like public, yeah, arguments and fights. And oh my God, it's for now it just be like, nope, we're all good, we're back together.
Yeah,
Really
it's wild.
strange.
It's
Mm.
so bad. But yeah, I mean, like fair play. If I don't know, like I'm
I don't know
like,
what to make of it until we've got more information because I would
yeah,
hate to think, and I know some people have speculated, like, was it just to drum up some attention and get them people talking about them? And you would
stop.
hope to God not, because that's twisted. But
Yeah,
it does
especially
seem
for your kids as
sus.
well.
Well, yeah, to put them through it, but it does seem sus to now be like, oh, we're all fine, like after it being very tumultuous and
Yeah,
them being in a really bad place with one another. Now it's like, oh,
yeah.
actually, don't worry, guys, we're back together.
And
Strange.
they're getting packed going to church together. I'm like, oh really?
Oh, really?
You
That's
you have your
convenient.
gambling issues, you have your drug issues.
I know.
I mean, like everyone can go to church, but
Yeah. Since it's
looking
a
all holier
paparazzi.
than now, like away
Yeah,
to
that
church. I'm
sounds
like,
planned. I
yeah,
know. Come on.
100%. Get a grip.
Ridiculous. Mm.
Um, okay. Oh, actually, back to Pump Rose for a minute.
Yep.
We forgot to mention last week there's these rumors of a spin-off show. Um,
Yeah.
with like Jax, Brittany, Stas. They've kind of spoke about it before, and it would
Yeah.
be Kristen in it as well.
Kristen,
More
yeah.
so about where they are now, like with the kids and stuff like that. And I'm like, I I, I get that that would be good, but I also would. Well, first of all, Stassi and Jax don't talk to each other,
Yeah,
and
how's that gonna
Brittany,
work?
right?
Yeah. They're
And
in a feud.
then, um, but what we wouldn't get to see the other kids. Because if it's a spin-off, then
Mm.
Lala and Lala isn't allowed because of Randall. She's not allowed to
Oh,
show
of
Ocean
course. Yeah, that's
on
true.
TV.
Oh God, yeah.
Um, and then also, like, Sheena wouldn't be allowed to do both. Will she? Would she be allowed to do both
I don't
shows?
know.
So it's like, who are we going to have on it actually? Like, I'm not really that fussed. Like, I would rather
Yeah,
just
me
have Jackson
neither.
Brittany back on
Me
Vanderpump.
too. Me too. I'd rather
Like,
it just be that way. And whether they come
yeah.
back full time or not, I don't know. But like, yeah, I'd be more inclined just to watch the one show. Because you're right, if it
Yeah.
had like Stassi, Bo, Jax, Brittany, Kristen, like if it had a bigger, fuller cast, then
Yeah.
sure. Because
Yeah.
we know Stassi's not going to go back to Vanderpump at this rate, but they don't speak. So how is that logistically going to work? Have you also noticed that someone that's really back in the picture is that Max Boyens now? Remember the
Yeah.
manager from Tom Tom? He was like
Yeah.
there that night where James was DJing, I think at Pump. You can see him in the
Right.
background of some of the videos. And then I've just seen I watched Sheena's vlog today, like when she went to Vegas, and also for Ariana's birthday, because I just wanted to see what that was like. But yeah, Max was there. I'm like, since when was he back on the scene? It's like really odd. And
Well,
then
I actually saw a photo of him with Jax.
Yeah, with Jax. Yeah, Jax posted a photo and he's in it, and I'm like, hang on, I don't even think they were close while they were filming the show.
No,
it was.
Do you remember Jax was rage texting him saying you're not invited
about the
to
beach
my party?
day. Yeah, I'm like, where is he? Think he's gonna make her? Surely not, because he got fired. You would think, but then so did. Yeah, who knows? It seems like obviously Jax and Brittany got fired too. So I don't know, but it just seemed random that he's back on the scene.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of him, and then you also see a lot of Dana from like Katie and
yes, I follow
Ariana's
her.
like Instagrams. Oh, you follow her as well?
I follow her. Yeah, so she. Yeah, and she went to like the UK with Katie and Ariana for that wedding. They do seem really tight. I wouldn't mind to see her back on the show, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I quite liked her, but she picked the worst season to come on because it was that horrible season 8. So yeah, I feel like she seemed cool to me, but I don't know why she left, or maybe didn't get asked back. But yeah.
Yeah.
See how it all evolves for next season.
And on contracts for next season.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been confirmed, but apparently Melissa and Teresa have signed for the next season of Jersey. I'm like, Teresa, hello, what happened to everything you said? She's just so fickle, isn't she?
Yeah, of course. I heard they're all coming back, like same cast.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't mind it. Well, no, I know, but I think we do need a break from Teresa, but I wouldn't mind the same cast.
The rest of them, sure, yeah, I agree. Especially the 2 new girls did well, and like Jen Fenster as well. Yeah, but I do think to have Melissa and Teresa, it's like, oh God, here we go again. But yeah, that's what we're gonna have to just put up with, I suppose. I thought, I can't wait, as you can tell. Oh, it's just Teresa. I really like Melissa and the rest of them. I just could do without Teresa, or put her on pause, do a Rinna.
Yeah, I know. I think she needs a break. But then also it's like, do we need a break from her? Because I feel like, Louis is a bit crazy. And it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to have a break from her and then they break up. Like, I want to know.
Oh yeah, we need that covered.
And I don't think that. Okay, I'm going to say it now. I don't think I see them being together this time next year. Louis and Teresa.
I wouldn't be surprised. Although she stuck it out with Joe for how long, Is that just...
I know, but I mean, maybe, but I just think he's already doing quite a lot to like publicly embarrass her.
Yeah, true.
I just don't know. I can't see it lasting. So I'm like, we want to see what happens there. So maybe we still want her on the camera. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll keep, stay optimistic.
So let's get into it. Did you enjoy the OC this week?
Yes, I did. I just rewatched it again this morning. It's such a good episode. I'm loving this
it
trip.
Was.
And we're getting like another episode out of it next week as well, which always goes to show when it's like a 3-episode trip. That's a good sign.
It's a good
when
one.
they've got that much content out of it. Yeah. Sometimes they're like 1.5 and you're like, oh, what a waste of time. But this has been good so far. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like fun, isn't it? I know there was a lot of like I don't, it wasn't even drama. It was like we said last week, it's all the sort of petty shit.
Yes.
There was loads of it.
Loads.
But it was just so fun. Like I just loved watching it. Which I'm like,
I love it.
And I love something,
this cast.
I'm still in one of those ones where I'm like, oh, like I'm not exactly really excited each week to watch it, but I'm getting there. Like I feel like last season probably just killed that excitement for me for new episodes of the OC. I was like, oh, every time we watched it was boring, like kind of boring. But no, it's actually been so good this season.
Really good.
So fun.
It is.
Were you glad that we didn't have Atlanta this week?
Yeah, I didn't really miss it. Did you?
No.
And although I will say it's slowly getting better. It is. We said that. So I've got, and also, we had a mid-season trailer come out. Have you watched it?
No, I
Oh yeah,
haven't.
okay, I'll send you it. So yeah, the mid-season trailer came out for Atlanta just the other day. So yeah, it does look quite good. There's like a kind of more we're going to see about Drew and Ralph, and there's like hints towards like Drew getting caught cheating on him or like kissing some other guy. Yeah, something about Drew and a guy. I'll send it to you, obviously. So yeah, that did look like there's still a fair way to go, but yeah, I didn't really miss. I wasn't super bummed out, like, you know, when such an American phrase, bummed out. But you know, when you go to watch the show and you realize it's not on and you're like, oh damn it, like if it was like OC I'd be like really upset, but I was like, oh well.
I know
on. So
I know.
yeah, it's not a great sign.
And usually they take the break at the point where it's like loads of drama, so you're like, oh my gosh,
that's
I really need
true.
to see this episode. And this time I was like, oh well, we're not missing anything, so
well, yeah, it's like, oh wait, another week. Not a great sign.
I know.
But yeah, the OC was, it's a good episode for sure.
So we picked up where we left off last episode, and it was still Heather, Tamra, Taylor, everyone talking about the IMBD situation.
The only one that could get it right, I think, was Heather. The rest of them were completely.
The thing is, they were all like jumping on the bandwagon, like, it's IMBD, it's IMDB. I was like, none of you even know. You're just trying to all be the one who's right. Like,
yeah,
oh
exactly.
My gosh,
it's not that difficult.
But yeah, so and then like Tara is point. Tara? Tamra is
Tara. New housewife.
Tamra is point blank refusing to admit anything. But also we get the instant flashback to her saying 1900s when she's like, I said 1990s. I'm like, do you think she just doesn't remember, or do you think she just doesn't want to look bad? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if she's going to play the amnesia card this season and just be like, I was drunk, this and that. And it's like, oh God. It's shady. I mean, it's shady either way, saying, I mean, the 1900s is obviously worse. But to be like, oh, you've not done anything since the 90s. The 90s was nearly 30 years ago, you know? It's like, it isn't great that you said that, but you're right, she's not taking any accountability, and she's still not on her stories. Did you see this? She did a Q&A the other day. I've got it here. Just, this is relevant to like Tamra and Jen. So basically there was something about it seems you brought Jen on the show to take her down. This is what a fan had said. And Tamra says, I did not bring her on the show. She tried out for multiple years. We had very little contact 2 years prior to filming, right? And then you've got side by side of Jen doing a Q&A. Jen said, someone asked her, how did you get cast on Beverly Hills? On OC, Beverly Hills. And then she said, I'm glad you asked, because I heard I've tried out multiple times, obviously talking about Tamra. I was training with Tamra regularly when they were casting for season 14. She submitted my name. I went through all of that, but at the time, Bronwyn got it. So that was it for me. Then I get a call back years later saying they're looking for season 17. I was flattered, but I expressed that I was in the middle of a divorce and that I was dating. So how could I be considered a housewife? But then we talked, had a Zoom call, and the rest is history. But Tamra's claiming that, how bad is that? And then, so I've got two more.
Yeah,
so then we've got Tamra again being asked, why did you lie to, which we're just talking about, why did you lie to Heather's face about not talking shit about her career in the bathroom? And she said, I did not talk badly about Heather's TV career at all. It was on the show. Don't be persuaded by interview bites. It will all be explained at the reunion. I'm like,
it wasn't an interview.
It. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So she's obviously just doubling down and sort of playing the whole, it was edited that way card. And then Tamra, last one. How hard was it for you to have to talk about the Ryan stuff? It looked so uncomfortable about Jen's Ryan. And she said, which is funny, I never planned on bringing it up on camera. I found out a month prior to the trip. After a lot of tequila, I told Heather and Shannon. So this is about like, you know, finding out that he said he wanted to fuck her when he first walked into the gym. I'm like, that's not cutting it, Tamra, at all. Like the way you've acted, and then to just then excuse it and not say, oh, I feel really bad, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. And yeah, let's get into that one then, because that was one of our kind of top 10 moments of the episode. But Tamra saying that, like Tamra just saying that to Heather and Shannon in the first place, and then she does also obviously blurt it out. Is that in the preview for next week? Was that in the preview? Yeah.
I think it was right at
Or
the
was
end
it
of the
on?
episode, maybe.
Yeah, or right at the end.
Yeah.
She was desperate to say that, as far as I can see.
Agree.
She really wanted to say
Get that out
on
there.
camera. Yeah, I think she's been. I mean, yeah, maybe she did know a month before, like, but why would someone tell you that a month before if you're not already probably talking shit about them? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think, and I actually wrote this in my notes. I think Tamara's like seems like a really fun friend to have. Like she's always having a good time. Like, you know, you would have a laugh, but like you would never be able to trust her.
No,
Never.
of course not.
Because
she just throws anyone under the bus.
She betrays anyone and everyone for that show.
Yeah.
And she also, and it's not just like, it's like, oh, it's my job. Like she does it. I don't know, the podcast is kind of a job as well, but she does it on that podcast. She says the most awful things about people.
Yeah.
And I just think
No
like
loyalty.
she has no loyalty whatsoever. It's
anyone.
very strange. And
I know.
I genuinely wrote that in my notes. I was like, who is she actually friends with on this? Like, because it seems
who does she
now
consider?
she's done a full 180 and now she's like Shannon's bestie. Me and Shannon, I'm so glad we're back together and whatever. And don't get me wrong, so am I. They're great fun together.
They're fun. Yeah.
But now it's like she's back with Shannon, and then it's like she's just gonna bag everyone else out. Like, I don't know.
No one else is safe.
Like,
I know.
That's really interesting as well that you said that Tamra and Jen didn't really talk for 2 years before the show.
Prior to filming, yeah. But it doesn't come
you
across
think they were like
way.
besties? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of portrayed to us that they were really close. Tamra did say in one of the previous episodes that they didn't talk for a little while because when it came out that she was dating Ryan, and obviously like, you know, with the Will thing. So that was acknowledged, but it wasn't like, oh, we didn't talk for 2 years. Like it was just kind of like a bit of a blip of, oh yeah, while this was going on, we had a bit of space from one another. So the stories aren't matching up basically. And I think, Tamara is clearly just sort of doubling down and trying to save face. And it's not great. It really isn't.
It's not. And what did you think about her being in that bathroom with Heather? I mean, Heather Dubrow is going to be so fucking mad when she sees that. Surely. Like,
of course.
You're like, you lied to my fucking face.
Yeah, like, the footage is there. They flash back to it. Like, you did. You're just lying. And it's not good enough to use the whole, oh, I don't remember. Because that's a dangerous friend to have too. Someone that is going to drink too much and be so quick to bag you out and say all these really hurtful things. And then they say, oh, I can't remember. Like, because again, she woke up the next day being like, oh, I don't remember much. There was too many tequila shots. Well, during that time, you told Shannon and Heather something pretty, you know, not great about your friend's boyfriend. So it's not looking good.
No. And I do think, is she maybe just trying to be nice to everyone's face? So that she can like cement herself back in the group, like so that she's got friendships with everyone, but then actually is just talking shit about everyone. Like no one is safe.
No one is safe. Exactly. That's so true. But also, so on the second point, I did quite enjoy the fact that like the three of them stayed up drinking like late and had obviously more shots, and like that was quite a fun moment, and that is very true to like the OC like in its good era or its fun era. But also I'm like, how can they drink like this and still function the next day? Like,
I know,
they put me to shame. I honestly I think I counted like 8 shots or something when they were doing the flashbacks. I'm like, just watching it made me feel hungover. Like, I don't know how these women do it. Like, kudos to them. But I
I know.
couldn't be up and about making breakfast the next day like Shannon.
I know. She was funny though. Like she always,
Yeah,
yeah,
she was hanging, obviously.
like yeah. And they always are like they are
Hmm
so much fun. And like even when she was like, I mean, Tamara was a bit aggressive throwing the Haribo, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was all right.
Yeah.
But I did actually feel for Heather in her confessional when she was like, "Oh,
I
like
know.
I'm glad they're friends again, but like, does this mean I'm going to be left out now?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just
Sad.
it." And it's moments like that where you're like, "Oh, it's just interesting that like even at like their ages, that's still sort of something
hmm
that might cross your mind."
Yeah.
When, like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It
It's
was,
very relatable, isn't it? And it's kind of that
mm,
whole I think Heather, although she's the last person you'd think would feel like an outsider at times, she does.
yeah,
And that dynamic has
exactly.
always been like, whether it's been Tamara and Vicky or Tamara, Shannon, Vicky, she's kind of always felt like, what was it they used to call her, like fancy pants. And it's like, oh, she never really
Yeah,
felt like, and then now you've got Tamara back. It's like, oh, am I just being pushed to the side again? Yeah,
I
I do kind of
know.
feel for her
I know.
too.
Me too.
Um,
And it'll be interesting to see where that all goes by the end of the season. I just honestly, right now, I'm like, I couldn't tell you who's going to be friends by the end of this season
No, I know.
because
That's yeah. I
the
can't
daggers are
imagine Heather
out
is
with all
very,
of them.
yeah, very pleased with Tamra at all. That
I
reunion
know.
will be interesting too. Um,
Um, but why the fuck did they make them shovel shit
oh my God, it's
on a
so
hangover
cruel.
as well? Like we
Oh
were
my God, I know.
saying,
I didn't think of that. Oh my God, it's so cruel. I would be
like
vomiting,
no one
honestly.
should have to do that. Like I'm not paying to go to a resort or a ranch to go and do that. Like that's
I
just
know.
unbelievable. And the fact that Heather and Gina even did it was
Yeah, they
wild for
were
me. I'm like,
good about it, to be fair. Like
yeah,
a good
there's
sport. I'd be like,
no
absolutely
way,
not. No, thank
no
you.
way would I do that ever.
Mm-mm.
And then what was another top moment for you actually?
Oh, this is a really good one that you've wrote down actually. So we've obviously covered like we talked about Tamra being like really sneaky and stuff. So cover that one. But on a lighter note, seeing we got like a cut to Emily and Shane being in the house and like I'm obsessed with them this season. I
Yeah,
really am.
I
I don't know
know.
what has happened, but I'm like, since
Me
when did they become like couple goals? Like what? Do you remember
I
when
know.
Shane first came on the
I
show?
know.
He was like a monster, and like now
Yeah,
I'm obsessed. It's so funny, and I feel like the fans have really rallied around them too as a couple. But I think you
Mhm.
said it last week. It's nice to see a couple that's like improved over the years and not done the usual housewife thing where it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, I know. And they just seem like they just have a good sort of banter or whatever between them. Like it's
They
just always
do.
quite light and like
Yeah,
yeah, just
jokey.
funny.
hmm
Like when he's like, if you need to go in, if you've got an appointment to get the Botox and
What's
your
gonna
daughter needs
happen?
you, she's like, yeah, I think I'll cancel my appointment. I like the fact that
It's
he
like
even
what
asked.
Botox? I know, I love it. In fact, she didn't know that he had like some garage talk show when he was like in high
Stop.
school. I'm like, oh, you're so sweet. Like,
I
yeah, they're
know.
just fun. They really
I
are. They're
know.
really lighthearted and yeah. I really
And
missed
when you
her
see
like
her,
not being on the trip though.
I know. But I feel like they actually all like still because Emily's usually the one to like bring shit out of people.
Yeah, she's true.
And
She's good at
they
that.
all kind of did it quite well,
Yeah,
so it was all
yeah,
right.
they managed. They coped. Yeah.
I'm just gonna put another light on. Um, but do you know what I loved? Seeing Emily's old photos, modeling photos. They were
Yes.
so
Oh my
cute. I mean,
God.
she is so beautiful. She
She's
is a stunning
gorgeous. She's
woman. Oh,
so beautiful. And she's just, yeah, and her daughter is so beautiful as well,
yeah,
Annabelle. Like
I
I
know.
mean, she seems like a terror, but she's
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, we call her like the feral child or something. She said she's like, we got her from the woods or something. Like, it's so funny the way they talk about her, but yeah, she's gorgeous. And then she's like, oh, she's like 90% me, 10% Shane. But when she's an asshole, she's 100% Shane. Like, oh, I just love that whole thing. It was great.
I know. I know. I did. I love them and yeah. I actually wouldn't mind seeing more of their family moments. I know how I
Me
always say I
too.
don't I'm not here for the family scenes, but those
Yes,
ones can
but
stay.
yeah,
They're so good.
exactly. Agree. And then okay,
Okay.
yes, you go.
No, I was just gonna say we come back to the ranch, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually, so I know that like last week I was kind of going in a bit on Gina, or maybe it was the week before, saying, I think there's more to this Jen stuff. Like I'm just not like
Mm. Yeah.
understanding why she seems to have such an agenda for her. But I actually felt like, which I didn't think was going to happen, Gina did come round a bit, and she's like,
Yeah.
she was quite honest and open with Jen about it,
Mm-hmm.
and Jen took it so well.
Oh, amazing.
Like, I'm really
She's
liking
so,
her.
I really am enjoying her. I am. Like the more the episodes go on, I'm like, oh, yeah. And obviously it kind of takes a bit of a, well, 180 by the end of the episode. But that moment where they're sat around having lunch, I thought was really mature, and yeah, they both
Yep.
handled themselves really well in that. And Jen, yeah, she could have easily gotten very defensive and thought, what?
Uh-huh. I
Um,
know.
so yeah, I thought it was really mature of them.
Yep. Contrast that with Tamra being like,
Oh
how
my
much longer
God.
are they going to be talking for?
I
I'm
know.
hungry. It's like,
She's
fuck,
acting
you
like a
are.
brat, wasn't
I
she?
know. I know. I'm like, geez, just let the women speak. Although, God knows how long they were there for. Maybe
Yeah,
they weren't
yeah,
there for
maybe
like
it was
four
a long
hours.
time. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, come on.
Like, just get on with it.
Um,
But
yeah.
but yeah, I was glad to see Gina have some resolve there, because I thought, okay, we're moving on from it. We're not going to keep this going. Like Jen seems like a nice enough
Hmm.
woman, whatever else. Obviously, then flip to the end of the episode where they're talking again about this divorce, and we'll get into the sort of what happened around that. But again, Gina was just so triggered, and she actually took herself off, and she was really upset. And I loved the way Heather was with her.
Yeah, me
Like Heather
too.
was
I
like,
really.
because someone was like, oh, she's just upset. And Heather was like, no, actually, I get it though, because you're saying this, and then stormed off. And then I actually really loved the advice Heather gave her, because
Yeah.
Gina went to phone Travis, and Heather was like, no, Travis is your boyfriend. Like he's not your
Hmm.
therapist. He's not your brother. Like
Yeah.
you don't need to phone him and burden him with this. Like this is something you need
Hmm.
to work through. You don't want it to affect your relationship. And I think that's right. But then we seen in the preview for next week, Gina's like,
Pissed off about it.
aha, and like bitching about Heather saying that to her, to Travis. Also, like making it worse when she's speaking to Travis. And I'm like, you took that the completely wrong way, I think. Like,
I
that was
think so
actually a really
too.
nice thing for Heather to do. And I think Heather was
Hmm.
right in what
Yeah,
she
I agree
said.
with Heather. I agree. And it's like coming from a
Yeah,
genuine place. I just think, and yeah, I know that like Gina's being triggered in a way that I'm still struggling to make sense of it. Like it's as though Jen cheated on her and that
I
didn't
know.
happen. And like I love what Jen said, something really spot on for me. It was like, it's not my job to make you feel okay about this. And I'm like, she's right.
So true.
And
That's
it's
so true. Yeah.
like emotionally intelligent, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I honestly thought Heather was being a good friend by the way she handled it, and she was happy to hear her out and talk her through it. She wasn't
Yeah.
dismissing how she was feeling or diminishing her feelings or anything. It was kind of like, just don't call him in this moment and talk to him about it.
Yeah.
And I don't see what's wrong with that.
I know. Yeah. And like, you are right though, that like you can't be upset by other people's actions all the time if they're not towards you, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah, that's it.
if someone else is acting a certain way and that's annoying you or upsetting you or whatever, then yeah, she's completely right. You need to work on that for
Hmm.
yourself,
Yeah,
because
that's
people
something
can
you
do
need to
whatever
work
they
through.
want.
Well,
Other people
exactly. And like you
are
said,
going to do whatever
she's
they
not
want.
she's not directly. And also I felt bad for Jen because in that moment she was forced yet again to defend the situation and to like she's kind of backed into a corner in a lot of
Oh
these
my God. Yeah.
situations where
All this
Tamra's
poor woman
coming for
does.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. All this poor woman does is talk about this bloody divorce that she
Yeah.
probably didn't want to talk about 100 million
No.
times.
And she's
And
never
it's
brought it,
like,
she's not bringing it up. She's being
nope.
put in a position where she has to talk about it. And she even
Yep.
said in the moment, like, Gina, I know I'd said that I was going to try and be sensitive around you and how I talk about it, but you're there, you're part of this cast, you're part of this trip, you have to hear some of this stuff. And I loved actually Shannon coming to Jen's defense. I really thought Shannon was so mature, and I loved her interview bites to be like, well, hang on a minute, I've been cheated on as well, and it's not affecting me the way it's affecting Gina, but I'm in a happy place in a new relationship, which we think Gina is too. I just think there's more to it, and maybe some unresolved stuff with her ex, which I get, that's okay. But I don't think it's fair to take it out on Jen, who didn't cheat on her. Her ex did. Whatever his name was. Mark. No, not Mark. Matt. I think it's Matt. Gina's ex. Yeah.
I was going to say Travis, but that's a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's interesting. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, I think Gina probably needs to do some therapy, some kinesiology.
Yes, that would
one to recommend.
It would work. Did you listen to her? She was on Danny's podcast this week, Gina.
No, I've not listened.
Yeah,
I
listened when I was in Byron for work. I had a lot of time to kill. It was good. It was good. It's quite a short interview, but
okay.
It's
I did see a clip.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Oh yeah, about him calling
are
her
you mad
Casita.
that I call you Casita?
Yeah, that's funny. She handled it really well actually, because the clip didn't show the full thing, and she was really good about it. But she kind of came out the gate straight away saying, hey, look, I know I look crazy, particularly in this week's episode. I know that I shouldn't have I know Jen didn't cheat on me, like all the things that we've just said. She's like, I was having a hard time, I was struggling on the trip, my best friend Emily wasn't there, who I normally would rely on, whatever. She had a few sort of reasons. But she did kind of acknowledge, in like hindsight's 2020 type thing of like, yeah, I look crazy. But it was a good interview. It's worth watching.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give it a watch actually. I
kind of redeemed herself. Yeah, but
okay.
After that, for me,
that's good.
After hearing her out, which was good.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so what did you think about it? Yeah, it was at the end. Tamara did say that, didn't she? Tamara did actually say it at the end of the episode.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, absolutely should not have said it like that.
In
front
delivery,
of
not great.
Yeah. Do you think, like, what's your thoughts? Like, obviously, yes, it's out of order for a man to walk into a gym and say, I'm gonna fuck her, and then someone said, oh, she's married or something. He said, what does that matter? Or I'll still do it, or whatever, right? And I'm like, yeah, he's a prick for saying that. 100%.
Of course. Yeah.
But does, like, how would you feel if you found out that your boyfriend said that about one of your friends before you were ever dating him or seeing him?
Exactly. Yeah, 2 months before they started dating. I mean, is it a nice thing to be told? No, obviously not. And you wouldn't want to hear. But the sad truth is that some people speak like that, and that happens. Does it make it right? No, it doesn't. But also, if they were together, absolutely, she has a right to know. But the fact that they hadn't even started dating yet, I'm like, what is that? How is it relevant? And why does Jen need to know this? Why are you bringing it up on camera? I just think it's wrong. Tamara, if she's got a relationship with it, it's kind of between Tamara and him. Tamara and
absolutely,
Ryan, than it is why
and
bring Jen into it. She doesn't embarrass her, I think.
That's the thing, because she's never like, if she found out a month before, why didn't she pull him to one side at that party at hers where he was at, right? He was there, the gym party. So why didn't she pull him to one side then? Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you
found this out.
taking it? Why are you taking it out on Jen as if it's anything to do with her? Like, what? So now she needs to just defend her boyfriend for things he did in the past? Like, that's not her fucking job. Like,
exactly,
he can defend himself, and it's not like he's not on camera. So go and ask him about it.
Yeah, like, bring it up to him.
And at the end of the day, they keep saying, "Oh, he was like, what was it, like? Not the playboy of OC. What were they calling him? Like,
it was something cringe.
Yeah, something like manslaughter. I don't know, something. I've made that up."
Listen, they all mean the same thing effectively. But it was like Playboy or something. Yeah, we'll put our own spin on it. Why not? Throw it out there. But it effectively meant that.
Right. So, like, why are you, like, that's on him. That's his reputation. Like,
Yeah.
Why is that? Okay, fair enough to like warn someone and be like, but she clearly knows that already. She's already said that she knows that
Yes.
he cheated on all of his exes and he's this and he's that. She knows all about his past. So
I
you're
know.
not telling her anything new. So stop
Hmm.
making it out like she's in the wrong for dating someone. Like
I
she
know.
know
It's her
like it
choice.
seems to me like Jen knows where it's at. Like she's not,
Agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jen doesn't seem to be fooled by anything. It's not like she's saying she's
No.
marrying him next week. Like,
Yeah.
give it a
I think,
break. And I
yeah.
just,
Yeah, Jen's not naive in this situation of who she's dating and what kind of reputation he has. Absolutely. I just think it's so unfair to sort of, and I don't like that Tamara kind of weaponized it as a way to sort of,
yeah,
in my eyes, like embarrass her. And like
absolutely.
Shannon was kind of like, oh my God, I'm so sad to hear this. Like, that's devastating that, this is going to come out. And Tamara didn't
Mhm.
give a shit that it was going to come out. She said it, like the way she did it was so like, there was no empathy there for the
Oh
situation.
yeah.
Couldn't even pull her to one side and give her the heads up that,
No,
hey, I've said this on camera when I was drunk. I didn't have any intention to, but it's out now. I just want to give you that courtesy. I'm really sorry. I know it's not something that, really, not that it doesn't affect her, but it's like, I'm going to speak to Ryan about it or something and leave
yeah,
it at that.
yeah.
But it's,
But
yeah, it's wrong.
also, see when Jen or whoever it was asked Tamara, why are you only just telling me now? She was like, she rhymed off like three different reasons why, and none of them were, I didn't want to upset
Yeah.
Jen or I didn't want to hurt Jen. It was
Yes,
like,
because Taylor had to
ah,
say, oh,
yeah,
and what about upsetting Jen? That's so true. That's
yeah,
really telling. It's not
I
painting
think
Tamara in
so.
a very good light at all. Now, on
No.
another note, what did you make of the whole dick pic situation? Because that
Oh
was rough.
gosh, that was bad actually. Yeah, I
It
actually
doesn't add
almost
up.
forgot about that.
Hmm.
That doesn't. So basically, he absolutely sent a dick pic to someone else when he shouldn't have.
To Tamara's
But
friend. Mm.
yeah, but to Tamerson. But Jen obviously found out about it. She probably didn't know what he obviously didn't tell her about it. She's obviously found out about it, but has agreed that like, yeah, it's cool. We'll just forget about that, whatever, and move on. So now she feels the need to
Hmm.
defend him and lie for him because
I
she
think so.
obviously doesn't want, it's embarrassing for her to be like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
he
of
did
course
do
it
that and
is.
then I've forgiven him. Like
Yeah.
100% that's happened. Like, I mean, how could you? How
Uh,
or do you know what's maybe happened is him maybe knowing that they're going to go on the shore or something. Maybe he's then told her, look, I made a mistake and I did
yeah,
this
this could
just in
come
case it comes
out.
out. Yeah,
That's
maybe it's say
true.
something like that. But like, there's absolutely in no way was he sitting across from her on a flight,
On a plane, yeah, what?
sending a Snapchat of his dick to her saying, "Hi, I miss you."
It just didn't happen. And also the
Yeah.
fact that the only people he's got on Snapchat are like
Oh,
her, the woman, and his
and his children.
kids. And then he
Also,
makes a
I was
mistake
like,
of sending that. I'm like,
yeah.
what?
Oh my God.
That's dangerous. Play with
That
fire there,
actually
mate.
killed me. Yeah, that
Yeah,
killed me as
what?
well. I thought, so you could have accidentally sent a dick pic to your children.
Also, like,
Imagine,
who still uses
imagine
Snapchat? Maybe it's
receiving a dick pic from your
oh
dad.
no, that's trauma. That's traumatizing. Don't even
That
make
is
that a
lit.
potential situation. Like, what on
And
earth? And I'm
oh
sorry,
my
but I'm sure
gosh.
he's got more women on Snapchat than just them two. Like, if he is this
Well,
big
also
playboy.
that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
But also
Yeah.
it's weird for a 40, 50-year-old man to have
Of course it
Snapchat.
is. I gave up
Yeah.
Snapchat when I was like 22 or
Yeah.
23.
FYI,
Like,
Ryan,
come
get
on.
off Snapchat. Like it's embarrassing. Like
Stop
you're a
it. And then there'll
father.
be no accidental dick pics being sent anywhere.
Yeah, I know. I genuinely thought that at the time. I thought he's got his or however many children on his Snapchat and he's sending dick pics.
Along with his girlfriend and his side piece. Like, what? It's, yeah,
Yeah.
wrong.
Look, he obviously isn't, you know,
An angel.
like a great guy.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's not like Jen is completely blind to it. So I feel
No,
like
she seems
just let
smart.
her live her life. Like if she
Yeah,
wants to be with him,
exactly.
let her be with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, next week's episode looks good where he
Mm,
is like raging.
he's
I
not
th
happy.
I think he's gonna be good at like being
Yeah,
dramatic. You know, I
me
don't think
too.
he's gonna take any shit. and he's
which
not
is
just going
good.
to
And
sit back.
yeah, I think he'll
Yeah.
sort of definitely go up against Tamra. And Tamra
And
tells Eddie.
Eddie.
Eddie seemed a bit like not, I mean,
Yeah.
we only seen a short clip, but it didn't seem like he was like crazy angry about it, but he's just kind of like confused. I mean, he's got right to be annoyed, obviously, because
Yeah.
him saying that and then being told, oh, well, she's married to the guy. It's like, okay, yeah, he has reason to be
Yeah.
like pissed.
Yeah, but also like he didn't know you at that point. Like it's not like he's your
Yeah,
friend and saying it. Like I don't
it'd
know.
definitely be
Like
worse. I know, agree.
yeah.
But yeah, very good
So
episode.
mm,
Excited for
yeah.
next week.
Yeah. Okay, so now we want to do a bit of a deep dive into
Mm-hmm.
some of our favorite Bravo celebrities. So this is going to be a new segment um, where we look at some of the facts and favorite scenes, favorite quotes from our favorite Bravo celebrities. This week we are
Mm-hmm.
doing Jax Taylor because
Yes.
A, he's iconic.
Mm-hmm.
He is.
He is.
And B, he might be coming back to Vanderpump Rules. And actually,
Yes.
he's the one guy that we love to hate. We really
Mm-hmm.
do. But
Oh my God,
also,
yeah.
I feel like he's had a really big change. I think
Mm-hmm.
since probably having Cruise, maybe
Yeah.
that's when it's happened. And I
Yep.
just think he's really, I'm excited for him to come back. I think he's still that same person. He's outspoken. He'll say it as it is, but like, I think he'll have a bit more, he's just got a more caring side to him now, which we see a lot
Mm-hmm.
more regularly.
Yes.
So yeah, I would love to have him back.
Me too.
Um,
I'm really excited. I seen a comment or like a post about him coming back, and the comments were very mixed. Like a
really?
lot of
Okay.
people, yeah, which surprised me because obviously you and I are on the same
Yeah.
page of like bring him back. He's had the break,
Yeah.
he's a dad now. He does seem to have sort of changed, but he's still like Jax is like was born for reality TV. Let's be
Oh
honest.
my
Since
gosh,
day
yeah.
one on Vanderpump, it is just perfection. Like, yeah, he's obviously not been the best guy at times, but entertainment is like 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So I'm all for him coming back. But yeah, the comments are very, very mixed and sort of like some in the camp of no, we don't want him back. Or him and
Why?
Brittany. I
Yeah,
know.
he's so funny though as well. Like
I know.
he is like James Kennedy. Like he's James Kennedy 1.0 and James Kennedy is like
Yes.
the 2.0 is version 2. And is
Yeah.
like, the new and improved version, but they're
Yes.
both so funny. They're both
So
so
good.
so
Mm-hmm.
quick. So like and he just has so many good moments which we'll get
Yeah.
into.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but first of all, let me give you some facts about Jax.
Please.
So his real name for a start is not even his
Mm-hmm.
name isn't even his name. This is where we
Nope.
start. This is a man.
Fact
I know
number
people
one.
have stage names, but like he has the name for reality TV. So obviously his
Mm-hmm.
stage name's Jax Taylor. His real name is Jason Michael Couchy, which is just like
Icon.
make him sound so cute.
I know, Jason. Yeah. Remember you
Little
had
Jason.
the therapist call him Jason that he like fell in love
Uh-huh.
with.
He's like, no one else can call me Jason, but when she
Not
calls
even
me,
the
it's just
girlfriend.
like, yeah. Wouldn't it be really weird? Like, I guess actually, right? So your boyfriend has a nickname and
Mm-hmm.
everyone calls him by his nickname.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
sometimes I forget his first name. So,
Yeah, same.
so that's what I was going to say to you. Like, when do you ever call him by his first name? Because you always call him by his nickname to me.
Always, yeah. I think the only time would be if I'm like introducing him to like new people that I don't really know very well. It's kind of random
Mm,
to say the nickname instead of like
yeah,
like an actual name. Like, and Liam's like a nice name, but
I know. I
yeah, I
love that
forget
name.
all the time.
When you speak to like your mom and dad, do you just call him his
Us.
nickname?
Mm-hmm. They know him as that. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so funny.
We have a few friends like that, like
Yeah.
friends, boyfriends that are only
Yeah.
known by the nickname, and it is
And you
mostly like,
sometimes you do
yeah, you
forget and you're like, oh my
forget.
gosh, I forgot your name was that. That's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
like
I
you
just,
don't associate them with that
yeah,
name.
but I just wonder what it's like being the girlfriend because like
Mm.
surely like it's just weird for Brittany. I thought it would be weirder for Brittany, but maybe not. She just calls him
Yeah,
Jackson.
she's just used to it too. I suppose at least
Mm.
Jax makes kind of sense from Jason, does it? Maybe
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Two of the same
Yours
letters.
doesn't.
No, totally different.
Okay, so Jax's age is 43 at the moment. He's apparently born on 11th of July 1979. Do you believe that?
I was gonna
I
say,
think
is
I
that true?
I think he's older than that.
I think he's
He had
older.
his 40th birthday
I know
way
years
more
ago it
than,
feels like.
yeah. It was not in 2020 he had his 40th birthday. There's no way. So
No, because I feel
I
like he
think
had
he's
his
45.
40th on the show.
Yeah.
Although, wait a
I
second, the 11th of July is only 2 days away, so he is gonna turn 44.
for okay. Yeah, so
I just
maybe, but
realized. But no,
I
I think
still think there's
season.
another.
Yeah, I thought season 7 or 8 he had his 40th birthday on the show. Listen, there's so many things about him that could be complete bullshit. It's like Sandoval. I see. Did you
That's
obviously
so
Billy
true.
posted the cakes and Schwartz sent a cake that said 40 again in brackets.
Yeah. Yeah. I did like
He's
that.
lying about his
What
age too.
what was the deal with all the carrots on that cake?
I
Oh,
don't
no,
know.
don't know. Yeah. So Schwartz sent or gave Sandoval a cake and it just had loads of carrots around it and nothing else. I was like, I don't get it. Like, was it just it was a
Like,
carrot cake? But like,
does he like carrot cake? I don't know. Is
yeah.
there more to it?
Like,
It's
why did we
weird.
need like yeah, it was cute, but like very strange for a birthday cake.
Uh-huh.
Um, okay, so then oh yeah, so obviously born the 11th of July, which does mean that he's a Cancer, which I was
Mm.
actually kind of shocked about because my boyfriend's a Cancer
Yeah, right. Yeah.
and they are,
Not
well,
similar.
I well, yeah, I should hope so.
Thankfully. Jesus.
But yeah, they're just not, yeah, I don't know. But then I read that Cancer is born in early July. This was a
Okay, it's
description of them,
different.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Cancer is born in early July, and you tick this off and tell me if this is Jax. So they are
Mm-hmm.
intense.
Mm-hmm.
They are
Yes.
incredibly charismatic.
Yes.
Yes. They are attractive, which he is. Which actually,
Yes.
I was going to say, considering the fact that we think he's older than what he's saying he is, he does look great for
Yes.
whatever age he is. He does look
Yeah,
really good.
he
And to
does.
be
He
fair,
looks good.
he's, yeah.
I was gonna say Jack season 1 I thought was really cute, and then I went a bit off
Mm.
him. And I know that Andy
Is
said
that
that
just because you got to know
somewhere.
him?
Maybe, yeah. Remember Andy said it in an interview, I don't know where, can't cite it, but he did say, like, I thought maybe it was in his book, but he said Jax was super cute season 1, and then he was like afterwards, like, I thought he got too meaty or something, like too buffed up. Not
Right.
like, yeah, like from the gym. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
And he was like a meathead, like that's like a
Yeah.
description of that are like too big from the gym,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
muscly. So he's like, oh, I kind
Okay.
of lost it. And I kind of,
Hmm.
yeah, thought season 1 cute, but I don't know if it was just that Schwartz I thought was always better looking than Jack. So you're comparing him to pretty good looking people on that show.
Yeah.
The bar is pretty high.
Yeah. But I just always think he looks quite good in like a tracksuit and a baseball
Mm-hmm.
cap.
Yeah,
In
and his
fact.
skin looks good these days.
Yeah. Yeah. He does
Because he
have good
doesn't drink
skin.
as much and party as much.
Mm. Okay, so attractive but also possessive. Yes,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
right? Like,
Wow.
and moody.
Moody, obviously, yeah. That really
100%.
checks out.
And then it says these people, these early July cancers can turn on a sixpence. I was like, well, if that's
Well,
not him,
yes. Got like
like
hours of footage of that.
literally, it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. So then it says they're ruled by the moon, which you know about cancers. So they are passionate, yes,
Mm-hmm.
creative, which I would say like he's
Mm-hmm.
obviously in a creative career.
Yeah. Oh
Secretive.
my God. Mm. What? It's
Um,
like written for him.
I know, intuitive, which he
Oh yeah.
100% is.
Mm-hmm.
He has everyone on that cast correct.
He
Like
does. Spacey
he
Sandoval.
goes about it in the wrong way, but
Mm-hmm.
he knows people, right?
Yeah,
And
wow.
caring, which I'm
Yeah.
like, we do see that side to him sometimes, and as we said, we see it more now. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is literally Jax Taylor. Like I was
Yeah, that's
expecting him to be either Scorpio, Leo, like one of these
yeah.
like obvious,
Gemini.
um star
He
signs.
would be a
Yeah,
really
could
good
be a
Gemini.
yeah.
Oh God.
Yep. So I was quite shocked when he was a Cancer, but then reading that I was like, no, that is
Yeah, it checks out.
100% Jax Taylor. So
Hmm.
yeah, and it's funny because they are literally the words that you would use to describe him. Like you
To
wouldn't
a
use
T.
anything else. Yeah.
No. Wow.
Um, so he was born in Michigan, which I also think is interesting because I don't know why. I just thought he lived in Florida because he always goes on. He like grew up in Florida because he always goes on about
Hmm.
it, and he
Yeah.
never like he obviously speaks about Michigan and stuff, but he did spend so much time in like obviously LA and Miami and whatever that I'm like, it just
Mm.
seems weird to he does not seem okay, yeah, he's got the sports side to him, so I guess he does have that sort of like more Michigan guy feel to him. But
Mm.
I just didn't see that for him being from Michigan. It's just an
Do you
interesting
know
one.
somewhere he also lived was Bondi Beach?
Stop it.
Yeah, he lived in Australia for like a year, I think. And you know the reason I know it is because at the time, like when Stassi and all that were still on the show, Stassi and Christina came to Australia for like a holiday for like a few months. This was probably like season 8. No, maybe like season 7 of the show or something. I think she was first seeing Bo. And she put a post up about all of her Sydney pictures, and they did like the Bondi to Coogee walk. And obviously along that walk, there's loads of like graveyards and cemeteries and stuff. So Christina had planned that for her. And Jax commented on the photo being like, oh my God, I love Sydney so much. I lived in Bondi Beach for like, he just commented on the
Oh my
post. And it's like
gosh.
probably one of the only times I've seen him talk about it. But yes, we lived in Bondi. How crazy.
Stop.
Years
That
ago
is
it would have been,
crazy.
obviously before we
Yeah,
moved here. But yeah, it's
that's
mad.
amazing. Yeah,
I
that's actually
know.
really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, a little thing in common
Just
with
thought of that
Jax.
now. I know.
Um, all right, so moving on from where he lived, let's talk about his height because there's a lot of
That
things.
shocked me.
Right, so it says that his height is 5'11", and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, and we know that he has been caught out for wearing heels or
I was gonna
heel
say with or without
inserts
the heel inserts.
in his shoes. So like I get it, but also doesn't he come across as taller than that?
Way
So then
taller.
and then that makes me think, how short are the others? Because we
I
know
know.
Sandoval is always wearing heels, and I mean platforms. Those platform Vans or Converse, I'll never get them out of my brain now. Um,
Oh God.
but like what actually I really need to look up what height they are because
Do
that
you know
was
who looks
wild
tall
to me.
though? James has gotta be taller.
Oh
No,
yeah.
maybe not.
I always think
It's
hmm, I don't know.
Jax has like tall energy though.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
thought he'd be at least 6 foot.
yeah, me too.
I'm
Um,
sure he
I
lies and
I
says he is.
really thought um why right, I've looked up James Kennedy height and it's just coming up with his weight. That's so weird.
What? That is
Yeah.
strange.
And it's like James Kennedy net worth weight. So he's 74 kilograms. That's
What?
terrible. Why would
How
it say that?
bizarre.
Tell me his
How would
height.
anyone know that to put it on the internet
Okay.
as well?
The fact that James Kennedy is deaf, oh no, 5'10".
What?
5'10".
Seriously?
Yep.
That's
Okay. And then I'm
terrible.
just gonna look up Sandfall. I don't know if this is actually boring for everyone else, but this is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Surely
He's so-
Sandfall's shorter than that.
Yeah, he's gotta be. He's probably gone on and like edited his Wikipedia though. Like,
Yeah, because it's saying he's 5'11". I don't believe it. I don't believe that
definitely.
Sandoval and Jax are the same height. I think, yeah, but everywhere's saying 5'11". Hmm. Oh no, somewhere else says 5'10". Yeah, he is. Oh, stop. Wait, wait, look at this.
What?
Wait, there's one like fact wikis, right? Tom Sandoval. It's been updated on the third on the it's been updated on the 30th of May 2023. He stands at an average height of 5 feet 4 inches.
Oh my God, whoever did
I
that,
actually love
bravo.
people. I love
I love
people.
the pettiness. It is
Oh,
so,
it's
we need to
so
get a
cute.
screenshot of that.
Yeah.
It is
Okay,
so
I
good.
believe that. Well, let's go with 5'4" because that seems more believable.
Yes,
So
my height, good.
the right
That's
height for
something in
punching him in the
common.
face, Joe. So
Yeah,
that's good.
exactly. Perfect.
All right, let's get back to Jax. So he's been married to Brittany since 2019.
Mhm.
He's got one kid who's
Yep.
2, almost 3 years old. It's called
Mm.
Cruz. Cruz Michael Couchy. So he's obviously got the same middle name, which is
Oh,
quite
that's
cute.
sweet. Uh-huh.
Do you like the name Cruz?
Yes,
You do? All right, okay. I
I
didn't,
do.
but
Although my first, this sounds really wankerish, but one of the first ponies that I rode when I was younger was called Cruz.
was
And
it?
it was spelled the same
That's
way,
cute.
like Cruz.
Oh, okay.
So I had a bit
Yeah.
of a soft spot because of that. He was very cute. But
Oh,
yeah, for like a little boy, it is kind of out there. But I think he suits it. I think he's like, it's kind of grown on me.
yeah, he does suit it. He's such a little cutie
Mm,
pie. Like
he's
he's
so cute. Yeah, he's
so cute.
gorgeous. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so actually something I found out, but I don't know if you knew this, but Jax's dad was Maltese,
I
which I'm
didn't know
like,
that. No.
that to me just explains like that his like beautiful skin, like
Yeah, yeah,
his look, like even the sort of like is it
yeah.
maybe is like just his whole face. I'm like yeah, it explains it for me.
Mm,
Beautiful. Amazing.
yeah.
Maltese people are so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Yeah, I
then he
didn't
has
know that.
one sister, I believe,
Yeah,
called Jenny. They
yeah.
really seem to have such a nice relationship. Like
Yeah, they
they're
do.
really cute together. Obviously we know from the show that he doesn't speak to his mum. Still doesn't
Mm.
speak to his mum, although she sent a couple of gifts for Cruz and stuff like that. So he did say in a recent podcast that he's sort of started sending texts, like sending her photos of Cruz and things like that. But they still haven't seen each other
Mm,
as far as a couple of months
sad.
ago. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, he seems really close with his sister Jenny. He's always been like she's in and out of the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of the
He
show.
seems
Mm-hmm.
lovely.
Yeah.
Like it's really cute.
Yeah, it's sweet.
So in Jax's early life before reality TV, he worked as a model in Europe and obviously Miami as well. Um, I just can't imagine him going around Europe, but I imagine, do you know what I do imagine? I could just imagine the numbers that we are talking for Jax
Mm,
Taylor.
I
Like,
know, honest to
it's going
God.
to be huge,
Extremely high.
huge. Yeah. Um, But when he was in
Oh.
Miami, what I surely this must be one of like Jax's fun facts is he stayed in an apartment with Channing Tatum.
So he claims.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
so
one
he
of the
claims.
reunions, they were like, Channing, can you please confirm or deny? Because I think Sandoval seemed to be like, that's not true. Like it wasn't adding up. But then we know
Yeah.
Sandoval's a liar, so who knows? Maybe it
Yeah.
did happen.
Yeah, I would
Um,
like to believe it
I'd
happened.
like to believe
Yeah.
it. Me too.
Yeah.
In like a
Um
model apartment where there's like bunk beds. There's like 10 of them to an
yeah.
apartment. It was like one of those
So many
setups.
guys. Yeah. All
So
mad
funny.
on the roids, like just fucking
You just see
um
it.
and then that's obviously Miami where he met Tom Sandoval,
Yeah. Yeah.
which has just been a very strange relationship, like their
Mm.
friendship. They,
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, they have done some stuff to each other, but
Yeah.
like it's kind of weird because now looking back, it's like you never really seen the two of them being like really great friends for a prolonged period of time. Like they were
Mm-mm.
always sort of bagging each other out either in private or to each other's faces. They never really
Yeah.
seemed to get on that well. Um,
Yeah. There
and
was
obviously
always
they
like a,
don't talk now.
I was going to say, there's always been a bit of a competitive energy, I would say, between the two of them that
Yeah.
Jax never really had with Schwartz. And I don't know about
Yeah, that's
Sandoval and
true.
Schwartz. Yeah. Maybe later on they did have that. But
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. It just sort of,
Yeah.
because they've been friends for a long time. By the
I
time they were on
know.
the show, it was like coming up for like 20, or by the time Jax got married, he was like, oh, 20 years they've been friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, crazy.
Crazy. Mm.
Mm.
Um, the next fact was actually yours. Oh no, wait, it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Uh,
It wasn't.
no, yours.
Wait, it was. Oh yeah, so he created a shoe and sweater line. I remember the sweaters. I
Yeah,
remember
same. Not the
he did a
shoes.
full season of Vanderpump just wearing like sweaters, didn't he? He was just always
Chunky
yeah,
knit sweaters.
chunky knit sweaters, and he really
So
thought that was
funny.
going to be the thing. To be fair though, he's always trying his hand at like different things, which I actually have a bit of respect for. But
Hmm.
yeah, I didn't know he had, I can't remember him having a shoe collection, but he also came out with a fitness app like
Oh my
years
God.
ago, like
Yeah, we've seen
literally like
that.
2014. Um,
Wow.
and I actually remember Peter talking about how he directed Jax for the app, like when he must have just been like showing people how to do things like press ups or whatever it
Mm.
was. Um, and Peter was like, it was a nightmare.
Of course it was. Yeah,
Um,
they filmed a bit of
which,
it on the show, which is, yeah, it
oh
was
right,
hilarious.
yeah, actually I remember that now they
Yeah,
did.
so
Um,
funny.
but yeah, I was just like the sweater brand. That is just, it was so funny because all he did was talk about sweaters for a whole season. Must have been like
I
season
think
4 or something.
Stassi like made fun of him for it, didn't she? She was like, "Oh my
Yeah,
God, like you and your sweaters, like, oh my God."
yeah. But to be fair, he was probably one of the first to start making sort of a,
Yeah,
something outside of like the
the
show,
show. Yeah,
which
true.
was
Uh-huh.
kind of cool. Um,
Yeah.
all right, no, this one was yours.
Yeah. So he played a part in Desperate Housewives as an extra. Well, yeah, I guess kind of like an extra, but it's funny because I looked it up on his IMDb, not BD, and it's down. He's called Hawkeye number 2.
Stop. I didn't know
So
that. That's so
that's when it comes
funny.
up. I was a massive Desperate Housewives fan, like when I was younger, and then during
Right.
COVID lockdown, I rewatched some of it, and I literally had to do a double take. I was like, "Is that Jax?" And it's like a scene of like Edie and Gabrielle at the bar, and they're like trying to
Yeah.
compete about who can get the most numbers or like the most
Right.
guys to buy them the most drinks, that kind of thing. And Jax is in it. It's
Stop.
so
That
funny.
is so
Oh,
funny.
yeah, I
And that how
know.
sort of like serendipitous is it that he was like
Yeah.
an extra on Desperate Housewives and
No,
then he's like Real
which was the
Housewives, which sort
original.
of yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it is for sure.
interesting.
Hmm.
I imagine it's funny when you think about like see when people get famous or sort of more well known, and then you look at all their previous work and they're like little bitty extras or parts in this and that, and you're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I didn't even notice them. And obviously you didn't. But then it's like, it's just funny when you see them pop up in things. You're like,
Yeah, and you're not
oh,
expecting it. You're like, oh my God, it's like
yeah.
Sandoval being in the hills. Like, what?
Oh my
Like,
gosh,
that's
yeah.
weird. And
Yeah.
yeah, just at the
And
time,
he
he would
came
just never,
across like a dick in that as well, to be
yeah, and
fair.
like sat in the casting chair like a douche.
Mm, I
Yeah.
know. All right, another fact about Jax is that he is despite all his years working in Thor, he is the
Oh my
worst
God.
bartender. He's honestly terrible. There's actually compilations out there are the amount of times
Oh, yeah.
people on Vanderpump Rules alone are like, my drink's wrong, my drink's not right, this doesn't taste the same as it did last time. Like it's missing ingredients. He is so, and he just doesn't give a shit. And the
No,
amount of times he would be asked something, he didn't know a recipe. He didn't know one recipe.
no.
He wouldn't have even known where half the like glasses were in that place. And he literally worked there full time for such
For
a long time.
years. So
I just,
funny.
he's so like, he was never meant to be a bartender, clearly. But
Mm-mm.
it's just funny how he didn't even try hard at it.
No, just didn't give a
Um,
shit.
Yeah. Um, okay, actually, he's had about 400 nose jobs and definitely got
Yes.
like a breast reduction type thing, which
Yeah, on the show.
yeah, that was
Was it
a
on the
strange
show?
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it was,
was.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And his nose jobs and everything, which I actually do like commend him for. He always did it on the show. He always brought
Yes,
like
put it all
whatever
out
was going
there.
on. Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
the
Um,
post surgery scenes were always really entertaining. Like the time like
yes.
Lisa comes into his apartment and she's like looking around and he's like, "Oh shit, I've stolen so much stuff from Sir."
Yeah,
Like
he
the
stole all
camera
the
pans.
cutlery. Yeah.
There's like
Yeah.
Vanderpump vodka, like his cutlery, his like salt and
Yeah.
pepper shakers is so
Yeah.
funny. And she's like in this weird little like
Mm.
studio
She looks so
apartment
out
that he
of
had at
place.
this
Yeah,
I
she
can't
looks
believe Lisa's in
so.
my apartment. That's
I know.
iconic. I need to look that
But
up.
isn't
Let's
that
see.
just the case for like everyone who works in a restaurant? If you live by yourself, like if you
Oh
live
yeah,
like not at home, yeah.
reaps
I
the
mean, even when I
benefits.
did live at home and work in a restaurant, I still took cutlery. It's just one of these things. But you kind of do, you just like shove them in your apron and then you forget, and then you're
Yeah,
home, you're like,
yeah.
oh,
You're like, oh, that was an accident. Whoops.
yeah.
Oh.
All right. So then, final facts actually.
Mhm.
He he obviously he's been like up against everyone in this
Yeah.
in the across all of the 8 seasons or whatever he
Mhm.
was on, but he actually does call everyone out for like things that end up being true afterwards. Like
Yeah.
from the very start, although he is seen as like this like villainous character because of the way he says things or whatever, like he always is telling the truth. I mean, I know he makes up lies about
Mhm.
himself. He does,
Yes, he
right?
does. Yeah.
And maybe okay about the cheating and stuff. He never really.
That
He
wasn't
always
great.
lies about that actually for the first,
Yeah.
10 times, but always on the 11th time he'll tell the truth,
Yeah.
right?
You'll get there eventually.
But with everyone else, he is very on point with like everything,
Mhm.
other people's relationships. Like, there's all
Yeah.
these flashback clips now to him saying Tom and Ariana were on the rocks like 3 years ago. He's like, they're not going to last. He said it about Tom and Katie. He said it about James and Raquel,
Mm.
even when they got engaged. Like, he's never off. He's never
I
wrong.
know. Which is, yeah.
And it's
Delivery's
just
not always the
interesting.
best, but you're right. He's
Yes.
very rarely wrong about things that he calls or things that he sees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Are we
he always
seeing?
gets called out for being a liar, but actually, he's one of the most truthful people on the
Yeah.
show,
And has
ironically.
put so much out there of his own life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
wow.
okay, let's get into some of our funniest funniest Jax memories or moments, scenes that
Mm-hmm.
you've seen. Um, oh, can I actually just say one thing that I would recommend is to listen to every interview Jax has done, like every podcast
Mm.
interview, because he doesn't give a shit. He says everything. He spills all the
Yeah.
tea.
Oh, he
He
does.
doesn't
Yeah.
care. He and he's very open. He's like an open book. He doesn't say
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that." Like he just bags everyone out. But it's
Yeah, he
actually
does. He
like
goes for it.
he just and yeah, okay, he sprinkles that with some, over dramatics or whatever, a bit of extra, sprinkle in
Mm-hmm.
there of the fairy dust. But for the most part, like he actually does tell the truth, and it's actually
Yeah.
quite a good listen. In one
Mm-hmm.
podcast episode, he said that he was going through a really dark time. He was a bit depressed and didn't want to like leave the house and whatever else. And he said Brittany actually introduced him to weed, like
Yeah.
cannabis,
Yeah.
whatever
I've
else.
heard
And he
that.
said
Yeah.
it saved his marriage and it like
Mm-hmm.
almost kind of like cured. He didn't say the word cured, but like helped with his
Yeah.
depression and anxiety and everything else. And I was
Yeah.
like, that is interesting because he obviously does have a bit of a drug issue, There's
Mm-hmm.
certain episodes throughout the seasons where he's definitely on more than a bit of weed. But
Yeah, it looks that
it's
way.
interesting to see like how the difference, like because
Yeah.
maybe
And
that
that
is
he's
why he's
opened up
more
about
calm
it.
now. Yeah,
I know. He kind of didn't he
interesting.
kind of speak about it season 8, maybe when he was getting married. And do you remember after they got married and he was very up and down with his mood? And I think he might have
Yeah,
said something about going through these cycles of like he'd smoke weed, so then he'd eat a lot and he'd feel shit about himself, and then he would like
that's right.
then to kickstart it, he'd take loads of Adderall and then go to the gym 3 times a day, and he was in
Mm,
this like really unhealthy, vicious cycle. Um,
yeah,
yeah, but I have listened to that interview. I think it was actually Juicy Scoop when he spoke about it,
okay, yeah,
about the weed and Brittany helping him, and it's it was a really good interview though. And you're right, he is just
yeah,
entertaining to listen to and puts it all out there.
yeah. I thought it was interesting as well that it was Brittany that introduced him to that.
Mm,
I just
yeah, I
thought
mean,
that was like I didn't
didn't
expect
expect that
that.
from her.
Love it, love it from Brittany. Like you need to calm down, take some of this.
This
Like,
is gonna help you. We need it.
yeah.
Oh.
All right, so let's get into some of our favorite moments. So do you want to go with it and I'll
Yeah,
come
this
in?
one is like a complete iconic, and I feel like a meme.
Yeah.
But we've got Jax telling Sandoval, I feel like this is like season 4 maybe,
Yeah.
to shut the fuck up about your fucking band. Stop acting like you're the number one guy in the group. I'm the number one guy in the group. I can see that is like imprinted into my brain, that scene.
Me too. Yeah.
It's
I
so
know.
good.
And at the time, we were all like, oh, Jax, like, that is so
out
out
of
of order. Like,
order.
funny, hilarious, but out of order. And now it's like, he was so bloody right. Shut the fuck up about that fucking band.
Yeah, it's still true to this day. It's,
I
it's
know.
still relevant 6 years
Sandoval
later.
still hasn't taken the advice. Yeah. I mean, I'm the number one guy in the group, in this group, has to be like,
That was iconic.
it's never like, that is just one of the best lines ever to be said
So
on reality
good.
TV to your two best friends who are the other guys in the group.
Yeah, literally. Fuck you two. It's me. I'm the number one guy in this group.
He's so
Oh,
good. He's
brilliant.
so good. Oh, Jack's telling Lisa Vanderpump that this is his show. Like, that just has to be. Like, or he didn't even say like, this is my show. He was like, oh, my show. And she's like, sorry, your show? And he's like, oh,
He literally dug his own grave in that scene. That was the last scene we seen of him on our TVs.
Yeah.
Bar the reunion. Which is so, like, the foreshadowing's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Do you think that was Lisa? I was like, he ain't saying this is his show.
Yeah. I genuinely think, you don't cross Lisa like that. Literally.
So bad.
Another one, this is brilliant. Jack's rage check. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Jack's rage texting Max about the beach barbecue and uninviting everyone. But the best thing was, like, he was just on his high horse and, like, arguing about what to him, the issue obviously is that, like, he's just losing control and pissed off and having a meltdown. But he's acting like, oh, I don't want to drive all the way to Malibu. We're all going to take our own cars there. And, the fuel and everything. And it's like, shut up, Jax. You don't care about us all driving to the beach and do the cleanup. That is the last thing you care about. You care about, the other side of it, which is just you freaking out. And then he rage text everyone.
Yeah, so. It was so. And remember, like, you saw there must have been the screenshots of the rage text to Max, and it's just like, at the time we were all like, poor Max, like, Jesus.
What did he do to deserve
like,
this?
I know, poor Max. Okay, Jack's calling out Sheena at the reunion. That was one of my most favorite things, because Sheena was a bit on her high horse about everything. Yeah. He's like, and then, although it was like a bit of an intense moment, because he was really sad that reunion, his dad had just passed away, and it was obviously really affecting him, as it would with anyone. Yeah. And Sheena was just being her usual self, really insensitive, really self-involved, not thinking about anyone else, which Sheena does get like that. Like, okay, sometimes she can be this like really good friend to everyone, but also she's like incredibly selfish. So Jax just called her out for it. He was like, and I can't even remember how it started, but he was basically like,
it on her.
Yeah, he really did lose it on her. Like, it was intense,
like,
but
storm off.
Yeah, and Brittany was like, okay, that's enough now, sort of thing, wasn't she? But that was it was a good moment from him. But again, it was like, he was telling the truth. Okay, it was probably done the wrong way, and it did, like, it's maybe a bit too far the way he goes with it, but he was telling the truth. Like, Sheena was being extremely selfish that summer. She hadn't reached out to him. Like, she was, well, didn't he say something like, you didn't text me? And she's like, I did. And Brittany's like, she did. He's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, he does that a lot, doesn't he? Oh my God.
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah, he's a freak out. Another meltdown that he had was in Sir, when he's like flipping everyone off. That is iconic.
That's the funniest scene.
So good to Lisa and Ken. And like, you've got James and Lala being like, what is happening? And then I think he actually storms off and walks down the road and like punches a lamppost or something. Like, he really he's off his mind that day,
But
night.
it's not just like he gave the middle finger to everyone and then walked out. He literally stood at the host stand with his
Yeah.
2 middle fingers up, just like pointing it at everyone in the bar,
Oh,
just
it's
standing there.
insane.
And then Lisa's like, "What are you doing?" Like, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like, then 2 minutes later, he's like raging again, and I'm like, "You?" I mean, he was out his face. Like, to be
Yeah, he
fair, he was
looks,
out his face.
yeah.
But
Oh,
he's just, and again, he's just so annoyed with like, well, James was winding him up, but he's so annoyed with Sandoval actually. Because Sandoval's
mm,
like not like standing up for him and kind of like, taking James aside and whatever at that point. And it was just, yeah, that is so funny. He is literally walking around giving the middle finger to
I
everyone that's
know.
in Sir. Was it Sir?
Brilliant.
Was
Yes,
it Sir
sir.
or Top? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sir.
Everyone that was in there. And Lisa's just like, she's had enough with him at that
No
point. Like,
wonder.
yeah,
Crazy.
that was so funny though. Um, stealing the sunglasses in Hawaii has to be on the
Oh, say no
list.
more. It is
I mean,
perfect.
his whole, just everything around it, even like his
He
whole
has to go to
story
jail.
about it, the fact that he
Well,
has
no,
to
he
go
has to go to
to,
fly back to, yeah, to go to
yeah,
court
to
or
go to
something.
court.
And he's like raging at Brittany. It is so funny. It's just,
Uh, it is one of the most like I think with Jax, like although there's a lot of kind of bad things that he does, like I just find myself laughing. I'm just like, how do you get yourself into these situations all the time? He's
yeah, literally puts
useless.
himself in them. It's crazy. Oh,
I
this is like, no, a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah.
I could watch this episode over and over and over again when they're in Big Bear and he has to get rescued by the lifeguard. And he's shouting, "You can come help me if you want. You can come and help me." And the guy's like, "Is he being serious?" To Rob, and then they have to go out and get him. It's brilliant. I love.
I know.
That's my favorite season, season 6. But I love that trip. It is so good.
Yeah,
Where
I
he's
know.
drowning in the. Oh my god.
He's literally like swimming in the lake, and then he's like, "You can come and get me if you want." And then he's like, "You can
He's
come
like,
and
"Come and
help me."
get me."
And then eventually he's just like, "Help! Help me!"
Lifeguard's like, "Is this guy for real?" Oh
Oh
my
my
god, it's
God, he's
brilliant.
so funny. Okay,
Oh
this was a tough one, but also
god.
this is what I mean. Like just in his confessionals, he's always just so fucking funny. Like he comes out with these lines, right? So first part, this is horrible, but also like, God, it's good for TV. He's dating Laura Lee. They're very full on with
Mm.
each other. They're like in love, apparently, it's all very intense. And then she goes to an AA meeting and he sort of comes with her. And he,
And
he
it's
goes
filmed.
in the middle, in the middle of the AA meeting, he's like, "Can we just go talk for a minute?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." He takes her outside and breaks up with her in the
On
middle
this
of
on the pavement,
on
yeah.
the on the curb of the
Sidewalk,
pavement.
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
And then he's like, "Look, I know it's not a good time and whatever else, but blah blah blah, right?" And then it cuts to him in his confessional and he's like, this is what he says, word
Oh
for
my god.
word. He says, "It's a full-time job to date someone who's an alcoholic. I don't want to be constantly wondering." I I don't want to be Wait, okay. "I don't want to be constantly wondering if I'm going to come home to you passed out or if my stuff is missing from my house."
Oh my god. It is absolutely insane that that came out of his mouth. Oh my god. Season 1, Jack.
Like,
Literally,
oh
that
my
is how he
God.
comes out the gate.
He's
That's
so good.
crazy.
He's so good.
Makes me
And
want
he's
to
literally
rewatch
just
season
sitting there
1.
like, yeah, I know. Some of his quotes honestly are amazing.
Oh,
Um,
brilliant.
Oh, right. So this one, I don't know if you'll remember this scene. I wrote this one. So him and Laura Lee go on a date or whatever, and they're in the sauna, right?
Oh
And she's
yeah.
like come out of the sauna. I think she's had some sort of like anxiety or whatever it was, right? So
Yeah.
she's come out of the sauna and she's sitting there sort of like shivering, like
Yeah,
shaking,
she doesn't
like
look
really
well.
not, yeah, she's not well, right? And he's like, "Oh, okay, I might just go in." So he goes in the sauna, leaves her sitting outside. And then it's talking to her like through the like window in the door of the sauna. And it's obviously like a sort of a plastic window. She's on the other side, he's on that side sitting down. And then he just goes, honestly, why is he like this? He goes, oh, is this like what it's like talking to your dad? Because her dad's obviously in prison. And he's like, and she's like, she just looks
Oh,
at him and he's like, well, is it? Like, it's just, and I'm like, he's not even getting it. He's not
oh
getting it.
my
That is
God, it
so
is,
inappropriate.
it's
And she
so
doesn't even
unhinged.
answer him. She
Oh
just
my
stares at
God.
him. I'm like, that poor girl, honestly, he put her through the ringer.
He didn't
Imagine,
have, Jesus.
imagine saying that to somebody. Imagine you open up to someone and say, you know, my dad's in prison. I have to go visit him, like whatever. And
And then you think it's appropriate in a
they
sauna
go,
to be like, is
they go
this
sit behind a window and they're like, oh, is this how you talk to your dad?
so bad? Oh my
He's out
God.
of order. He's out of
It's
order,
so
but
out of
it's so
order,
funny.
but it's
Um,
entertaining as hell. This, yeah, just the fact that he didn't want to have Sandoval as his best man,
yeah,
brilliant. The way he went
after
about that
20
whole thing
years.
was so good. Like basically dumped him from being his best man and then
Yep,
let him grovel his way back and then was like, oh, I've not
yep,
forgiven him, but I just thought it'd be easier to keep the peace. Like
yeah,
slating him.
I know.
So
And
good.
then he openly says now that uh we're not like I only did it for Brittany. I didn't want
Yeah,
him.
didn't want him. Wish he wasn't there. Wish it was just Tom.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Oh, this one's
I
brilliant.
love it.
When he gifted James some Supreme boxers. That's so good. They come out with this at like the start of one of the reunions. And it's funny
Yeah.
because like Andy asked the question and they're all just like, really? Is this where we're starting? Like, this is what we're being asked? But yeah, what like how does that even come about that he
I
gifts
know.
some underwear?
Well, so what I'm thinking is obviously they were either too small for Jax and he was
Oh
like
yeah.
given them by
I'll gift them
someone,
to
right?
James.
So then he gives them to James, right? That was my initial thought. But
Yeah.
then you think about it and you're like, did he steal them like he did with everything else?
Oh,
Like the
probably the
sunglasses, you know?
sunglasses, the sandwiches. He stole Stassi like a wallet that she kept for years. He used to
That's
go into
right.
gas stations and steal sandwiches. He's a kleptomaniac.
Oh God, even just talk about this makes me just love him even more, honestly.
I
I
know, it
don't know
makes me want
why.
to watch it.
Um, oh, we already said that, but like he's literally like maybe we were more saying he calls people out for things, but he has been up against every single cast member on the
Yeah.
show. And I put except Schwartz, but do you think do him and Schwartz? They've never really had anything, have they? Like he'll maybe talk shit about Schwartz, but Schwartz doesn't ever
Yeah.
retaliate.
I was gonna say there's been a few seasons where Jax has started rumors and like
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
he's been really nasty with Katie and obviously kind of indirectly affecting
Yeah.
Schwartz. Yeah, but I don't think they've really had much more than that, I would say.
No. But he's literally come up
Everyone
against
else.
everyone. So he's come up
Yeah,
against Stassi, Kristen,
yeah.
Katie. Um, I mean, then you could say Frank, but you've got Lisa,
Mm.
Sandoval,
Lala.
Ariana, Lala, James,
Yeah,
Raquel. I mean,
yeah.
maybe Raquel didn't really give him it back, but he said some awful things. Sheena. So
Charlie.
Charlie, yeah.
No
Max.
one's safe. Max, yeah.
There's literally, I don't know about Dana. Maybe not Dana.
Nah.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
wow, that is wild. Oh my God.
Everyone, everyone. Like honestly, you love to hate them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was like just some of the best moments, but let's just run through some of the like best quotes from him because
Oh yeah,
like I was
there's
saying
a
before,
few.
it's just there's so many and they're
It's like
actually so many they're
endless.
iconic.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one was him at the
Oh God.
reunion saying hashtag me too when all the women were talking about like, you know, female empowerment and whatever, and everyone's like, that's not what it means. Like they're like, oh yeah, and he's like, yeah, hashtag me too. And I'm like, oh my God. He's just such a fucking idiot.
So good. So
But
good.
only him, like honestly, so funny.
And then we've got
Um,
another one. When it comes to this group, I can predict the future like Gandhi. Oh my God, I remember this isn't a confessional, I think, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah.
I'm sure. Oh,
So
so good.
so like just ridiculous. And then he's like, is it Gandhi? What does Gandhi,
Yeah,
what
like
did Gandhi
second
do?
guesses himself. Yeah, he's like, wait,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
No?
But doesn't have a
Oh.
clue. Just says I can predict the future like Gandhi.
Mm.
When he came out of that, when he got rescued in Big Bear from the lake, he was like, and he
Yes.
came in. So he comes he comes into the house after the lifeguards rescued him, and he's like, I almost died. I almost died. And everyone's like, just
No
ignores
one
him.
cares.
And Brittany's like, oh, did you have to be rescued? And he's like, yeah, the lifeguard had to rescue me. Well, he didn't rescue me. He just threw me a raft. And then he's like, oh, but I'm thank God he didn't have to give me heart to heart because that would have been. And then I think it's Sandoval was like, do you mean mouth to mouth? Like,
Heart to
thank God
heart.
he didn't give me heart to heart. It's so cute,
Oh my
man.
God. Brilliant. And we've got
Honestly.
another one of him saying, oh my God, I'm Sweden. I'm going to be neutral.
Oh, love that. He was saying it to
Close.
Kristen,
He
and
was close.
yeah, I know he was close with the SW, but like
It's
Kristen's
two
like sitting at
letters.
the table with him, and she's like, oh, God, seriously, she's like, you're such a
Oh
dumbass.
my God. Like, here we go again.
And then there's a clip where he says to Katie and Tom, he's like, we're just gonna keep milking this cow because it's like a free cow. And Katie's like, a free cow or free milk? And he's like,
Yeah, I
what?
remember this.
And then he's like, oh yeah. Why? What does he say? And then he's like, oh yeah, because you milk the cow for free. He's like, yeah, free milk, free milk. Like,
Oh,
oh,
brilliant.
he always butchers a saying. Like he loves
Yeah,
butchering a saying. Actually,
literally
like
can
the
never get
next
it
one.
right. Yeah, that like this one. Hook, line, and singer. Oh my God. Close again. He gets so close and then he just
He is
messes up.
close.
Mm.
Yeah. So my favorite throwback clip was him in a confessional, and he's like, Meghan Markle and whatever his name is, like what's his name? Prince
I
Harry.
don't
He's
remember this.
referring he's referring to Prince Harry, and he's like, yeah, like Meghan Markle, and what's
You know,
his
her
whatever his name
boyfriend.
is.
Who's that
Yeah,
guy?
that
Oh
guy.
my
I'm like,
God.
wow, he's unbelievable.
That's
Oh,
so
actually,
good.
the next one is my favorite.
Yeah, this is literally got to be like top three. It's brilliant. So
Yeah.
it's actually iconic because it gets like, yeah, anyway. So he's explaining that Raquel is dumb as rocks. He says, I thought she was dumb as rocks before, but yeah, there's only a couple marbles going around up there. I remember this.
Oh, it's
It's
so
so
good.
good. I love
And
it.
it's like whenever he's talking to Raquel, he's just like so confused. Like he just looks so confused in his face, like, what is she talking about? All the time, every season. There's actually
No
a reunion
wonder.
where, remember when Raquel, it's her first reunion, she comes out in that awful dress, and she's
Oh
like,
God.
just because like I feel like everyone just thinks that I'm like a beauty queen. So like,
Yes. Oh
and
my
he's
God.
like, Jax is like, I've never thought of you as a beauty queen, so
Yeah.
don't
Like
worry
what are you
about
talking
it.
like what are you talking about? Stop.
He's so
Calls it
good.
then. Mm.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So then he says she's got nothing going on up. Talking about Raquel again, he said, oh, she has nothing. It is in a confessional, but he's like, she has nothing going up on in there. He's like, it's like echo, hello, hello, hello. He actually does that. And then the editors have obviously added in a few extra
Oh my
hellos, and I was
God.
like, he's just honestly, he needs to come back
Brilliant.
because the
Yes.
the things that he has actually said about Sandoval and Raquel, like
Yeah.
I need to see it. I need to see someone go in
Me
on them
too.
both again this season,
I'm
and I think
ready.
he's the person for it. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
buzzing.
agree.
I'm buzzing. We need him back.
Yeah, I think we've just listed off plenty of reasons why we need Jax back on our screens for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do a deep dive next week. Should we do it into Sandoval?
Yeah, maybe we should.
Should we go there?
Yeah,
Let's dig up a
brave
couple
it.
of his past quotes. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, this was actually really fun. I loved that.
It's making me
I
want to go
love.
back and watch them old Vanderpump. My
I
favorite
know. Let's do
series.
it. Let's do it. And then we've got New York next week,
Yes, I'm
hopefully.
ready. I'm
Yeah.
ready. New
Yeah, me
York
too.
and Crappy Lake as well.
Yeah.
Sonia and Luann. So we're gonna get a
They
dose of
should have
old
had a
Roni.
better name.
I know Crappy Lake is ridiculous. It really is. But I'm excited. I'm excited for both.
Yeah. Oh, I
Is there a
can't wait
week?
to have Sonia and Luann back on our screens.
Me too.
It's
Me
going to
too.
be chaos. I
I
can't wait.
know.
That's so exciting.
Cannot wait.
All right. Well, we will catch up next week.
Bye.